Hey guys, what is up? So today I am going to be doing a part 3 to my things you need to watch during quarantine series. Today I'm going to be telling you guys my favorite nostalgic Disney/Nickelodeon TV shows. The first category is Disney/Disney Plus. I'm pretty sure that all the shows that I'm going to mention under this category you can watch Disney Plus. The first show is Lizzie McGuire, and oh my gosh, I loved this show so much. I remember watching it on YouTube actually. It's just one of those middle school shows. It's such a classic. It's so funny, and it's in the 2000s, so it's like really nostalgic and really nice. It basically follows Lizzie, Gordo, and Miranda. They're just basically facing middle school struggles and challenges, and it is so funny and great, and it's just one of the best shows ever. The next show is Wizards of Waverly Place, and I mean, I don't even have to explain the show to you guys. Like Selena Gomez, Alex Russo, like, you know what I'm saying. This show basically follows a teenage girl whose dad was a wizard, but then he had to give up his powers because he married, I think. Yeah, but basically his kids are wizards, and they have magical powers, and they kind of, you know, go on adventures and stuff. It's so entertaining, so funny, and Alex Russo is just so relatable as like a teenage girl. She's so funny. The next show is That's So Raven, and I remember when Disney was offering, like, you could watch all of That's So Raven for free on their app, I think, a couple summers ago, and I watched every single episode. It was so great, amazing. This just follows Raven Baxter, and she's in high school. It's kind of just like your sitcom-y show where she runs into crazy different situations. She really likes fashion. Her outfits in the show are definitely interesting to see, but yeah, this is just such a great like family show, and it's really fun to see what adventures she gets into. Also, they have a spin-off which is Raven's Home, which is so cool to see because it's actually Raven Simone who played Raven in That's So Raven, and she's in the spin-off, and it's still so funny in the humor, and yeah, that's just such a great family show, and it's pretty much the same thing. But I do have to say That's So Raven, it's the original, it has to be better, but Raven's Home is pretty good, I can't lie. So the next show is Boy Meets World, and I have to say I'm a little bit of a fake fan to Boy Meets World because I tried watching it and then I fell asleep. That's that on that. But the reason that I'm mentioning that show is because I want to mention Girl Meets World. Girl Meets World is a spin-off of Boy Meets World. I remember watching Girl Meets World and I loved that show so much, and those were the prime days. I loved that show. But yeah, it's such a good family show, has great family values, and I know that a lot of people love Boy Meets World so much. It had 7 seasons. But yeah, those are 2 great shows that are on Disney Plus. Okay, so the next show is The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody and The Sweet Life on Deck. I actually grew up watching The Sweet Life on Deck, and I loved that show so much, but then I remember rewatching the first show, The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, and that one was so funny as well. And I mean, it just has Cole and Dylan Sprouse. They were so funny as kids. Yeah, I have to say that's probably one of my favorite Disney TV shows. It was just so funny, and they had so many different situations, and just amazing quality show. The next show is Good Luck Charlie, and this show was so good, and it's so interesting because it kind of predicted like vlogging and family vlogging and just YouTube like in general, and yeah, it's kind of interesting. Good Luck Charlie and iCarly pretty much predicted YouTube, which is kind of interesting. But Good Luck Charlie is such a great show. It follows this girl named Teddy Duncan, and she has like, how many siblings does she have? She has Gabe, PJ, Charlie, and then eventually Toby. Like 3 to 4 siblings, but it just follows like this, you know, average American family, and they're just such a funny family, and you know, there's adventures, it's a sitcom, but that was such a great show. Really loved that. The next show is Jessie, and I remember when the first episode of Jessie came out, I was so excited for it, and I just loved it immediately. And I have to say, like, out of Disney's newer kind of shows, like not really old shows, that one is definitely one of the best. The humor in that is amazing. Yeah, it's just such a funny show. There's so many different situations. I just really loved that show. And then I also wanted to give a little shout out to Bunked, even though Bunked, like, honestly, Bunked was pretty good, I feel like, until they changed everything. I think they went up to like 2 or 3 seasons where it was kind of consistent, and then the like 3rd or 4th season literally didn't make any sense. I definitely think Jessie was a lot better, but Bunked was pretty good, pretty decent. Okay, so this show is definitely not nostalgic because it's actually a current show, but it's called Sydney to the Max. I've mentioned this definitely in another YouTube video of mine before, but I love this show so much. I don't know why. It's just, it kind of reminds me of Girl Meets World a little bit. The thing that I love the most about it is that it kind of follows 2 different storylines. You have 2 girls that are living in the present time, so like right now, and then you have her dad as a kid in the past living in the 90s, and it's so cool because I love seeing like the dad's side, at least like when he was a kid, Max, and just seeing like all the nostalgic like 90s styles and technologies, and I just really love that, like the aesthetic of the show. But yeah, that's like such a good show. There's great family values in that, and I think that honestly out of Disney's shows right now, that's honestly the best show that they have going for them. I really love that show. show. The next show is actually an animated show from Disney, and it's Gravity Falls, and I just loved this show so much. I loved like the mystery and conspiracy theory, kind of gives you like Shane Dawson vibes. This show is just so great and amazing and really entertaining, and I'm not really much of a cartoon person, as I've said before in my videos, but this show I really loved. The next show I mentioned in my previous TV shows that you need to watch video, but I have to mention it again because it's under the Disney category. I keep thinking it's a Nickelodeon show, but it's not. But it's My Babysitter's a Vampire, and this is such a great show, like, oh my gosh. And I'm not really into like the supernatural kind of shows, but this one, it has supernatural elements a little bit, like obviously with the vampire stuff, but it really isn't like so dramatic that it's like too crazy and like hard to follow. I just really liked it. But yeah, basically you have Ethan and Benny, they are high school boys, and then there's a babysitter that's pretty much their age, and then she's a vampire, and then she has vampire journeys, and then they're kind of helping her, you know, and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's such a great show. I really love that one. The next category is Nick, and Nickelodeon definitely had some of the best shows when I was growing up. I feel like when I was growing up, I don't want to be that person, but like the shows that were in this era of like 2000s to like 2013, kind of like those were the best Nickelodeon shows. I mean, they were amazing. But the first one is Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide. Definitely the show with the longest title ever, but I loved this show so much. So it follows three middle schoolers, Ned, Bigby, Mose, and Cookie, and they're kind of just, you know, navigating middle school, and it's just one of the funniest shows, and I love like the advice that they have in it. That show is just so funny. I love that show so much. I think one of the reasons that I really love that show is because it had the same showrunner, I'm pretty sure, as Big Time Rush, and I loved that show. That's the next show I was going to talk about, Big Time Rush. Such a great show. That show is basically about this boy band that first they were like hockey players, and then they get discovered, and it's kind of just following their like boy band journey, and it's so funny, and I love the humor in that. Yeah, I think the showrunner name is like Longfellow or something, but any of his shows, I love the like sound effects and the humor and like the adventures in them, and they're just such great shows. And I think another show that he produced was 100 Things to Do Before High School, which, oh my gosh, I loved that show, and it was so similar to Ned's Declassified, but it only got one season, it got canceled, so that was unfortunate, but that's also another really great show that I love. Getting back to the nostalgic stuff, another show that I really love is iCarly, and again, this predicted vlogging in YouTube, like exactly. It's so like crazy when I think about it, because that wasn't even a thing back then. But iCarly basically follows these three teenagers. We have Carly, Sam, and Freddie. You guys know who they are, and they have this internet web show, and there's just crazy stuff that happens and just adventures and stuff, but that's such a funny show, great, and so iconic, so iconic. Okay, so the next show is Drake and Josh, and this is I have to say, this is one of the funniest shows ever. They're just, the dynamic between those two brothers is just so funny. The next show is Zoe 101, and I haven't watched like the entirety of that show, but I've definitely watched quite a few episodes that were available on the Nick app. But this show was produced, I think, by the same people that produced iCarly, I think, and Victorious. I could be wrong about that. But this kind of just follows a girl and like other high school students at this prep boarding school, I think, called PCA, Pacific Coast Academy, but it's just like really interesting, really funny. I don't know, it had like a really cool vibe to it, so I really like that show. The next show we have is Victorious, and this has such a cool vibe to it as well. It's at an arts high school, and everyone's like so talented, and this show was just so funny and amazing and just really great. And then the last show that I have for you guys is also a repeat that I mentioned in my other TV show video. It is House of Anubis, and I love this show so much. It mixes mystery with kind of like a boarding school, prep school vibe, which I really love. Like any show that has like a prep or like boarding school, I love the vibe of that. I don't know why. It's really interesting because you have this girl Nina, who she's from America, and then she goes to this like prep school in like Britain or something. But yeah, so then all the students, they like kind of stay in these houses. There's like a different house for each like different group of students that are kind of like selected at random. The house that she boards at is called the House of Anubis, and it's kind of haunted. There's kind of some mystery going on there, but I really love that show, and it definitely kept me on the edge of my seat when I was first watching it, and I still like need to rewatch it, and yeah, it's just such a great show. But yeah, that's pretty much then this video. I hope you guys enjoyed and found some new great nostalgic TV shows that you guys want to watch, and comment down below some of your favorite nostalgic TV shows from like Disney or Nick, because I totally would love to watch them if I didn't mention them in this video. And also, if you don't already, don't forget to follow me on my Instagram and Snapchat. It's a super fun time on there, and I'll see you guys in my next video.